Okay, rightio. Let's start with Harts Creek Farm. When did the family first buy it, etc.?
So my father's third generation here, I'm fourth, and this bit we're on at the moment, he bought in 1970, and we got interested in organics when I came back from overseas. I've been overseas for 3 years. I met Rose, who's my wife Rose, in London, and we ended up back on this farm. We weren't kind of sure just exactly where we were going, what we were going to do, whether we were going to stay here or what. But Rose, she got interested in, or she was interested in organics, and I had no exposure. And so really it was her influence that got me a bit interested in what might be possible. And that's what has probably interested me all the way along, and just what might be possible. And we started, our first certification was in 1986.
And how much of the farm did you convert?
Yeah, so what we did was I would have put it all into organics, just because that's kind of my nature. If it was a good idea, let's do a whole lot. But from my father's perspective, we didn't have any cash to put into the farm, so it was all his risk. And he came up with a plan that we would put a quarter of it into organics and see how it went, and that we could, learn how to do it, or whatever.
Yes.
And that after 5 years with a quarter of the farm in, we would kind of know what to do. Either the organics would have gone okay, or it would have perhaps gone badly. Yes. And we would have been able to make a choice without exposing ourselves to too much risk. And for me, that was the cleverest thing. That's the single cleverest thing we've ever done.
Yes.
Because I would have put into organics, we would have gone bust. I didn't have any machinery, I didn't have any background, we didn't have any capital reserves. It was a really tricky time to get going in farming, 1986, 87, that's when the subsidies were going off. We had some droughts, we had interest rates that got up 20%. There were just all sorts of pressures. So after 5 years, there was enough interest from some of our existing, people that bought crops like Heinz Wattie or Watties in those days, and we continued. We put more in each year. We'd put another couple of paddocks in. So, and we progressively went into partnership with my parents, and then we bought a bit, and then we bought all of it. And so about 1999 we'd bought the farm. I think we were farming on our own account then, and it was all organic, and it was an interesting time. We started selling our first organic lambs in that time, and we started expanding. We started growing organic seed crops, and we started in a small way. And by that stage we were growing carrots and onions.
Yes.
As fresh vegetables. We were growing sheep, wheat mainly, Watties, peas and beans.
So mainly food crops up until then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what when did you diverge more into the seed crops and some more specialised crops, I suppose?
Well, the carrots and the onions are specialised crops.
Yes.
And the seed crops interested me because I thought, we could become a major, one of the growers of supplying organic seed. There was a Dutch seed company that grows a lot of carrot seed in New Zealand, and they were keen to, have their organic, having a parallel organic line. And they put a lot into, making it happen.
Yes.
And we did it perhaps for 9 years. And we had some really good success in the beginning with organic carrot seed. And then it just progressively got a bit trickier. Part of that might have been, me thinking, okay, we can do it in a small amount, let's do it in a bigger amount. And we couldn't apply that same attention to detail. Part of it was around disease. There were some diseases we couldn't seem to handle.
Yes.
About 6 years ago, we stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And we are now concentrating on about 6 different crops.
Yeah, so what's your rotation now?
What you're looking at out the window is a wheat stubble, which is undersown with clovers and grasses, and that will be in the ground for another 18 months, and it'll go into peas, and then that will go into a leaf crop. We harvest barley and wheat as a leaf crop and gets dried to a powder, and then it will go into an autumn wheat crop which will be undersown. So it's a very short rotation. It's a 3-year rotation, and we grow crops on it for just over half that time.
Yes.
And then the rest is in rejuvenation.
Yes.
Yeah, or in pastures.
Okay, so what about your EM use? You've been a long time sort of supporter. How did that come about, and what have you done?
Yeah, so when Mike first got involved with his contact with Ravi after a conference in South America, we hosted, I guess, the trials, or he had trials on our farm, and we did them on onions that we were growing, and we got some pretty interesting results. So we did, say, for 3 years, we did trials, and yeah, every year we were getting, similar kind of results, in yield increases. We were getting storage increases in those onions, and so that started our involvement and our interest, because we wanted to basically have our farm going as well as possible.
Yes.
They're not large farms, and it just appealed to me as a sensible adjunct, if that's the right word, to what we're doing, playing with microbes. So that's how we got involved, and then we got involved with assisting getting the EM to the country, and then setting up a charitable trust to ensure that the Japanese interests were protected, the designers of these particular microbes. And yeah, it's been it's been interesting because we've had an opportunity to visit and see what other people are doing, hear what other people are doing regarding these microbes around the world.
And what sort of effects have you seen on your farm? Obviously, we've seen yield increases in onions, and you're also putting it through your pivot.
Yep, we put it through our irrigation systems. A lot of these things are really hard to define unless you've got really good control areas.
Yes.
So we haven't done it because we think we're getting a 20% increase or whatever. We've done it because we are interested in the long-term sort of health of the system.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Great. And so soil matters. How do they fit into the puzzle?
We've always had a program of doing solid fertilizers or compost or something, and we're involved with another farm up at Waipara, and we chose to go with their program, and it, I kind of just like what they were doing, and we decided chose to have them down here as well.
Yes. Yeah. And you've been using them for a season, just under a season.
Oh, look, a season here, but 2 or 3 years up at Waipara.
And good results up at Waipara?
Yeah, Waipara's an interesting place. It's about 3,000 hectares, so there's not an ability to put huge amounts of fertiliser on.
Yes.
So we're just steering the boat a bit up there. But it's a farm with high natural levels of fertility, and so what's required up there is more lime and
yes, yeah. And that, I suppose, goes with their philosophy of softer style fertilisers that enhance soil biology. Oh, very good. And so, what about the future? What does the future hold for Harts Creek?
Well, we've been organic now for very close to 30 years, and I'm 57, and I'm kind of interested in doing less of the physical operation and getting more involved with what we're doing up in Waipara, and developing organics up there.
Yes, yep.
So what I'd like to see Harts Creek continue with its organics, and whether the next generation kind of choose to take that over, we'll only find out in time. But I'd like them to have the opportunity if they chose to. I'm not sure just how it will all pan out. If you only do what you can do in the time you've got.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm not entirely attached to any certain outcomes.
What about so where are you exporting your product to?
Well, our products, we don't do export ourselves, but our products our peas can end up in Australia or the States or Europe. Our barley and wheat leaf ends up all over the world. Our lambs end up in Waitrose in the UK.
Yes.
Some of the beef ends up in the Pacific and different places.
You've got corn that ends up in Germany.
Yeah, we've got corn that ends up in Europe. The fennel ends up in Germany, and would go all around from there. So it's pretty
reaching all around the globe, I suppose.
Yeah. And I kind of like that. And all our onions and carrots end up in New Zealand. So it's a fair mix.
Yes. Okay, so why are you doing organics?
Well, as I said, Rose was the catalyst that kind of got us going. But the bigger thing that I've always been interested is, and I kind of struggled to put it in words, but I've had an interest in environment. I love beautiful places, and I've worked in some really stunning places. I've visited stunning places. I don't know, up in Iceland, I only visited there, but I just like those cold, vast places, and I've worked on places around New Zealand. They're just spectacular and stunning, and I don't know. And when we came here, it just interested me. I thought, well, actually, most places that I've worked on that I've thought of being as stunning, there's nothing you can do. They're stunning because they're stunning. Whereas these places here, they're small enough you can actually have an effect. And so for 20 or 25 years, we've spent up to 600 hours a year with a guy called Gunnar. He's planted trees, done things, and it's really starting to show. So all our waterways now have been fenced on one side or the other, and we've got areas of natives, we've got areas of productive timber, and it's just a really interesting It's made the farm, you know, more
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Nicer to be on, and gives you a sense that, well, you actually can make a difference on your own bit of land.